honestly tell those people to fuck off, mind their business. Because your baby needs to eat, right? I don't bother you when you eat, so why you bother my baby when she's eating? Hey y'all, it's Fancy Rebel back again with another video. And as you can tell by today's title, we're gonna be talking about something that I know all too well about breastfeeding. So these are things that people do not tell you about breastfeeding that I think you should know. Before we get started, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe so you can come join the team. Videos are every Sunday. So let's get started. Other things they don't tell you about breastfeeding are sometimes when your baby cries, your booby is just spraying out, girlfriend. It don't even gotta be your baby that's crying and your boobies is just leaking like nobody's business. When you wake up in the morning and you got a drenched shirt or your damn bra is crusty as fuck, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, I don't care how much you wash that bra, it is not coming out. Throw it away or keep it moving. But the stain is there to stay, okay? I don't know what it is about titty milk, but you cannot get it out of your clothes. At least I couldn't. So those bras are in the trash now, obviously, but yeah. And breastfeeding bras, those things are expensive and nobody tells you how much they're gonna cost. Like, I mean, I found some at Target, but still for that kind of bra and that material, I thought it'd been much cheaper. Like each one was like $20, $40. Between that range, depending on what brand you go for. And I was like, what the fuck? I know I'm gonna need multiple because I know my boobies are gonna leak, right? Other things people don't tell you about breastfeeding are you might have some really cracked nipples, okay? So nipple cream is probably gonna be your best friend. And when I tell you cracked, mine were not even cracked. Let's not even say that. They were worse than that. The white meat was showing. Yes, and I had to air out my titties before putting my shirt on, before it gets stuck to it and pull a scab off. I'm not joking. It was horrible. Like, sometimes I'm like, teeth? Kids with teeth? And you're worried about breastfeeding kids with teeth? Was nothing compared to breastfeeding a baby who just popped out the coochie. Nothing, I swear to God. Your nipple gets used to it for one by that point, and usually babies know not to chomp down when they have teeth. At least mine did. She did not chomp down with her teeth unless she was teething and she thought she was funny, so she would bite real quick and then look at me while she does it to laugh. But on the regular, like if she was hungry, she did not do that. Like, not at all. And I was totally worried about it. My mom told me horror stories about people who get their nipples bit off or whatever. My nipples are still here. Okay, my baby is fine. And also another thing, you do not have to stop breastfeeding your child at 6 months, 1 year old, 2 years old. Breastfeed your baby as long as you want to, okay? Don't listen to the haters. Other things they don't tell you about breastfeeding is people are going to look at you weird if you breastfeed in public. Honestly, tell those people to fuck off, mind their business. Because your baby needs to eat, right? I don't bother you when you eat, so why you bother my baby when she's eating? My baby eating shouldn't be a problem. Titties is made for this. So I don't see what the issue is. Stop sexualizing boobs, all right? Like when I was in the airport, people would be like, oh, there's a little pod over there that you can go into so you can breastfeed your baby. I'm fine right here. She's eating. I'm waiting for my flight so I don't miss my flight, you know? What's the issue? Or I'm on the plane and somebody's over here like, why don't you just give her a bottle instead? Well, she's a titty fed baby, so that's not really gonna work. She don't want a bottle. Trust me, I tried, and if she would take it, my life would be a lot easier, but she don't. So mind yours. Thank you. Or cover your baby up. We don't want to see that. Okay, let's demonstrate here. I'm going to put this cover over this child who does not like covers. I want her to kick it off and hit it, and now my titties flopped out because now she's looking at you who's bothering her. Now my whole nipple's out, so now everybody's gonna see everything. But how'd you have mind your business? She would have been latched. My little shirt would have been barely touching her, but you would not have been able to see anything but a baby cradled underneath me. It's your problem. close your eyes or look elsewhere. Do not let people shame you for breastfeeding your child in public. Please don't. It is not anything to be ashamed about. Your baby gotta eat, right? You eat. I'm not gonna let my baby starve just because y'all feel uncomfortable. These are things that you need to know about breastfeeding. When they become kind of like toddlers, I don't know if you breastfeed till they're toddlers or whatever, but when your baby's mobile, put it that way, they don't just like to just stay on a boob. They like to do flips while the nipple's still in their mouth. And, you know, kind of pull it. That's probably why they're so loose now. But yeah, pulling on it, trying to stand up while the titty's still in the mouth. Like, what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing? Sit your butt down. Other things they don't tell you about breastfeeding is when they're latched and they're comfortable, they like to claw at your titty. I don't know what it is, but they like to claw at it, and I'll be having scratch marks and bloody marks all over my titty. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't just eat in peace. Like, what is this? Please be a normal baby. Please stop before I pop you in the face. These are things you need to know about breastfeeding, y'all. Things they don't tell you about breastfeeding. For one, do not feel bad if you cannot produce enough milk. Do not feel bad. There are many women who do not produce enough milk for their babies, and people make you feel bad because you see people that are on like Facebook, Instagram, who post that they have like a whole freaking treasure chest, basically a whole freaking freezer full of milk, and their baby's only what, 2 months old. And I'm like, yo, that was not the case for me. It took me, and I'm not lying, it took me about 2 days to fill up 1 bag of milk for my child. 2 days. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to split it up though. Honestly, you're supposed to split it up. So every time you pump, you put it in the bag and you put it in the freezer or in the bottle. Doesn't matter. You're supposed to do like that. You're not supposed to just continuously dump it in there. But I felt so ashamed the fact that I couldn't even fill up 1 little baggie. So I just waited until I could fill it up. So my freezer was like, I want to say probably like 8 or 9 in that bitch. And then I see other people's freezers that are like, I don't know, I gotta get a whole nother freezer because I have so much milk. How much milk have you produced? And I was feeling like shit. Like, what am I doing wrong? What the hell am I doing wrong? My baby's not gonna be able to eat. She's gonna starve. I'm gonna have to use formula. So again, using formula is not bad. It is okay. As long as your baby is fed, that's all that matters. So if you have to substitute and you're breastfeeding, that's fine too. I had to do that. I had to do formula, and I did breast milk because I wanted to. I didn't have to do breast milk. Could have given up. Most people would have if they were in my situation. But I didn't give up because I felt like a horrible person if I gave up. Like, my body is supposed to do this for you, and I can't even do what the titties are meant to do. And that made me super depressed. But things that they don't tell you about breastfeeding are diet. You gotta eat enough carbs, baby. You gotta eat enough food to produce milk. If you're not putting food into your body, how the hell are you supposed to give food to your baby? You know? So I was depressed and I was not eating enough. Therefore, I wasn't producing enough milk. I was getting like 1 ounce. I was excited when that little ounce was in there though. 1 ounce in the bottle, sometimes at a time. The moment I stopped stressing and start eating enough, I shit you not, this is not a joke, I filled up a whole baggie, and then it was still some coming out to the point where I had to run and go grab another one, so it was leaking all over the bed. So I ended up, from 1 boob, I ended up filling up, I want to say 2 bags, so 16 ounces or so. That never happened before. But the moment I was eating correctly, when somebody was cooking for me and all that, it helped. I'm not saying it will help everybody, but that's what helped me. Another thing I did was I looked into the supplemental things to help produce more milk, like the flaxseed seeds. I tried everything, okay? The chia seeds. I did the whole Milky Mama. I'm gonna link that down below because that one actually kind of helped me. They do tea, they do lemonade. I think they have a bunch of other things now, but I had their like mini pack or whatever. So it came with, I want to say it was cookies, it came with brownies, and I think 1 lemonade or 1 tea. But then I kept buying it because it was helping, or at least I thought it was helping. So that helped me, and it tastes really good too. So that actually worked wonders for me, because I tried the other little cookie things you get from like Target, and they were nasty and they were hard, and no. This was great. Like, it tastes like a regular brownie, a regular chocolate chip cookie, and my milk was thickening up. So that's another thing they don't tell you, is more milk is great, but thicker milk is better. So if you are producing a lot of milk, but it's looking really like not white, like clear or blue, that means you have more water in your milk than you do actual milk for the baby. There's no fat in the milk. So really, you're just giving your baby water. It's basically not doing anything for your baby for gaining weight. So the cloudier it is, or the thicker it is, the better. So when it starts to look kind of chunky and weird looking, that's actually pretty good for your baby. Give that to your baby. And then when it's yellow too, the wonders of breastfeeding, when it's yellow milk, when you put it in the freezer, you'll notice that it'll start turning yellow. That means your baby was sick at some point, and your body is producing all the right things to get your baby back healthy. So whenever I would pump and then put it in the freezer, whenever she was sick, I would thaw out the yellow ones to help her get back to healthy. My baby didn't really get sick that often, so that was also wonders for breastfeeding. Your baby doesn't get sick as much as other children do, because they're taking all the enzymes from your body and giving it to them for nutrients. Another thing about breastfeeding they don't tell you about is not every baby can breastfeed. It has nothing to do with you at this point. It's your baby. Either you're tongue-tied, so they can't latch properly. So people tend to just pump constantly whenever they have babies like that, if they choose to still breastfeed. Or your baby might just not like it. Some babies just don't like titty milk, at least not human titty milk. And that's okay too. Don't force your baby to drink it. I ain't gonna lie, I did force my baby to, but okay, because I was like, you was gonna latch, because at work they give you time off to pump, and mama need a break, so you just gonna latch so I can pump. So if your baby doesn't like the milk, again, don't force them to drink it. It's better, again, your baby fed than to starve. And then two, another thing they don't tell you about breastfeeding is some babies are actually allergic to the milk, so they're lactose, which is so weird to be intolerable of the mom's boob, because it's natural, right? Like, that's how we were made. It's what our titties are for, right? So how is your baby allergic to that? Could be because of your diet. You know, your diet is very important to your baby, because whatever you're eating, your baby's eating. So that's why they say don't drink when you're breastfeeding, because whatever you put in your body, your baby's gonna put in their body. And that's for real. Do not drink when you breastfeeding. I ain't gonna, you know what, I'm gonna out myself right now. I did it one time. And I should have pumped and dumped, but I thought that was a myth. I don't wanna say my baby was drunk, but she had the drunk shits. Like, she had diarrhea. And I had the drunk shits. And I was throwing up. So I know my baby, she was feeling it. I felt like a horrible mom for that. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. Pump and dump, or just wait a few hours before you feed your baby. Or give them something that you stashed away, form it, whatever. Just don't do that. Please don't. Another thing they don't tell you about breastfeeding is sometimes you will have a clogged duct. The worst pain ever. I shit you not. The worst pain ever. It was still throbbing no matter what. Nobody had to touch it. It's just the thought of somebody even looking at your nipple. It hurt. I took a shower. The water even came close to my nipple. It hurt. I wanted to cry. And then when I seen that little white dot on my nipple, at first I thought, like, I was Googling it, I thought maybe she had whatever that rash is in your mouth, that is basically like yeast on your nipple, and then yeast in her mouth. So I thought it was that. Thrush. I think that's what it's called, thrush. So thought it was that. Wasn't that. She just had a really white tongue from the milk. I found a different pediatrician who let me know that it was not actually thrush. And then looking at my nipple, I did have like a white little blister on it. So it's called a milk blister. And I was like, how do you get rid of this? People say, you know, just massage the boob, massage it so it doesn't get rock hard, because let me tell you, my boobie was hard as hell. It looked like a huge cyst almost, like up here. Like you would have thought it was a whole implant up here, and it wasn't. It was just hard from the milk being backed up. Do you have to massage it? Yes. I won't say it completely helps if you have a milk duct or clogged or whatever. It does not help at all. It hurts like hell. So what I did, and I do not recommend doing this, go to a doctor, have them do it for you, but I used a needle and I burned it and I popped it. When I tell you relief, there was actually milk squirting out of that damn blister, and it was shooting out. It's not like I had to squeeze and have it pop out. No, it was shooting out. And then after that, I had so much relief. So then when I pumped, like my bottles were super full with a little blood too in there. And that's another thing they don't tell you, a little blood is okay. It'll separate itself if you put it in the freezer or even just put it in the fridge. It'll separate itself in the actual bottle or the little baggie. And that's totally okay. Pink milk, because there's gonna be a little blood in it, is totally fine. Your baby is not gonna die. Your baby probably drank a little of your blood anyways when they were chomping down on it like a fucking vampire. And you just didn't know. So I'm telling you, your baby will still survive. Do not throw that milk away, okay? It is great milk. Do not throw it away. My mom tried to make me throw mine away, and I was like, no, okay? You know how hard it is for me to pump? You know how hard it is for me to even get milk for my baby? I'm not throwing shit away. Another thing they don't tell you about breast milk is, or breastfeeding, is you can use that breast milk and put it on your baby if they have a rash, or even if you have a rash. It helps. It heals pretty quickly. So she would get like these, I guess you want to call it like baby acne, and I put some on there and it healed it up quick. I wouldn't say healed it up like, oh, as soon as you put it on, the next day it was all gone. No, it took a few days, obviously, but it healed up pretty fast. And I was thankful for that. I was like, oh, my titty milk is actually wonders. It's actually liquid gold, like they say. That's that magic right there, I'm telling you. Even wrestlers and things like that, they actually drink breast milk to stay strong. Google it. Another thing they don't tell you about breastfeeding is, if you cannot breastfeed, but you still want your baby to have breast milk, is there are donors out there you do not have to pay. You do not have to give any money to, and they will give you the milk. They make sure that that person is, if you're like a vegan or something like that, they only are vegan. They make sure that they don't have HIV, nothing like that. You're not giving your baby anything. So go to like your nearest hospital and ask. They have those out there for you. I don't know exactly the links to them. I can find it for you if you really want to know, but there's something to do. If something to look at, if that's something you want to do, like breastfeeding is totally all you want to do, look it up. Other things they don't tell you about breastfeeding is your boobs are never going to be the same after you breastfeed, okay? Like the fact that now I can literally pick my nipple up and pull it up to like here. Yeah. That loose skin. I did not think that that was going to be real. I mean, like, you know how you pick on your mom, like, oh, your little saggy sandbags and stuff like that? But now I got the saggy sandbags. Like, what is this? I could literally, like, this loose skin now. Like, what? I'm embracing it, right? Embrace it, embrace it. It was a great journey. Other things they don't tell you about it is, sometimes you might have that child who never wants to let go of breastfeeding. It took me about a month and a half once I was trying to wean her for her to be completely weaned. Like, it was torture. I actually breastfed for 22 months. I wanted to quit at 1 year, but she wasn't ready to let go, and my sleep was more important. I was a single mom, so my sleep was more important to me and my sanity. So I was like, fuck it, let her latch. I'm asleep while she's latched. Forget it, I don't care anymore. But those breastfed babies is clingy, super clingy. My baby's so clingy as hell. Sometimes I gotta pause this video just so I can go tend to my child because she wants to be on my damn tits still, pretty much. Like, cut the cord! But those are things that they don't tell you about breastfeeding. It's great for some, it's not for everybody, and it's totally fine. If your baby's fed, that's all that matters. Remember that. And I'm gonna end the video here because I'm just rambling on, and I know some of y'all probably didn't even watch all this, but it's okay. Videos are every Sunday, so go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you're still here with me, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.